Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Tonight we're going to begin chapter 4, and this is often referred to as the yoga of wisdom. It's the explanation of Gyan. So let's begin by reciting the verses. So the respected Supreme Divinity Krishna said, I explained this eternal union to brilliantly shining, and brilliantly shining explained it to his son, protector of the mind. So Vivaswat is the name of the sun, and he gave birth to Manu. And so the brilliantly shining one gave it to the protector of the mind. The light of wisdom who radiates light and illumination, he gave it to the protector of the mind. You gotta know this. Study this knowledge. Protector of the mind taught it to his son, the beholding witness. So now the protector of the mind is giving it to the witness of all the faults. Don't get attached to your thoughts. Be the witness. And thus it was communicated through the generations of wise kings who knew. And because of the great passage of time, this knowledge of union was lost. O Supreme Light Arjuna, all of us understand that proposition. Look at what happened to us. We were raised in families that taught us to be a somebody. And they didn't teach us from the early youth to be a nobody. They taught us how to expand the ego, not how to surrender. And remember, in English, surrender is the last thing you do when you have no alternative. Don't shoot! I surrender. I have no other alternative. I take refuge. What kind of refuge is that? In Sanskrit, surrender means the first thing, the highest goal, the ultimate objective. Samarpana. I offer myself in equilibrium. It's a privilege to allow you to influence my actions. So, because of the great passage of time, this knowledge of union was lost. Everyone said, protect yourself. And in that way, we all became defensive. And then we lost the knowledge of union. This is that same ancient teaching of union which I disclose to you today. This excellent secret, because you are a devotee and my friend. You are the ones that will come to the Devi Mandir in the evenings and listen to the words of God. And therefore, you've been chosen. And Clarity of Pure Devotion said, your birth was subsequent to that of brilliantly shining. Here you are in a body. And his birth was prior to you. How shall I understand that this was taught by you from the beginning? And the respected Supreme Divinity said, many births have gone before for both you and for me, Clarity of Pure Devotion. I know all of them, but you have forgotten, O one of great illumination. This soul is never born and never does it die. I exist as the Lord of all existence. And by controlling my nature, my soul manifests in measured or limited or perceivable form. So by controlling my nature, my soul becomes manifest. When the consciousness comes into contact with the nature, and consciousness prevails over the nature, then he takes a special embodiment. Consciousness says we will manifest in this type of limited form, with Maya, with measurements, with an outline, with a sima. It's got a limitation to it. It's got a definition to it. There's a limitation to this form. My soul takes form when consciousness comes into contact with nature. It becomes manifest, and you can perceive it. It's empirically verifiable. For whenever the ideals of perfection decline, descend into the light of wisdom, Arjuna, and there is a corresponding increase in selfish conduct, in derogation to the ideal, then I make myself manifest. So whenever people forget what is the ideal, and then everybody starts thinking about selfishness, what's in it for me, in derogation to the ideal, which is how can we unite? What's the best for all of us? That's the ideal. And whenever the selfishness rises in derogation to the ideal, then I make myself manifest. See, here we were beset with selfishness, and we said we need a way out. So please take a form. And God said, go make a form and consider that the divine image of me. And now she has manifested in order to take away all of our selfish conduct and inspire us with the most noble ideal. Then I make myself manifest. When you recognize yourselves that you've had enough of this selfish conduct, and you invite me, and you pray to me with sincerity, you'll see. For the protection of the performers of virtuous efficiency, for the destruction of evil actions, for the purpose of establishing the ideal of perfection, I take birth from time to time. Look at these performers of virtuous efficiency, striving for efficiency in manifesting virtue through every action. For their protection and destroying evil actions, taking away the selfishness, for the purpose of establishing this ideal of perfection, I take birth from time to time. And who understands this principle that my birth and actions are divine? Upon renouncing his or her body, does not move from birth to birth, he attains me. Just by understanding that God manifests my birth and my actions. My birth and my actions. Every one of us has to understand that my birth and my actions are divine. And then we attain godliness. Just understand that, because we become performers of virtuous efficiency. Devoid of passion, fear, and anger, with mind fully absorbed in me, purified by the light of wisdom, many have entered into my attitude of awareness, into my body. My attitude of awareness, my intensity of reality, the feeling of being with me, they enter into that, devoid of passion, fear, and anger, fully absorbed, thinking about me. How can I be a tool in the hands of God? How can I serve God? What is the best for me to do in these circumstances? Son of she who excels Arjuna, in every way which men seek me, in that same way I come to them. For every way that men follow is my path. That is cool. Everything you do, if you do it for God, it becomes karma yoga. It becomes the opportunity to be in harmony with God. In every way men seek me, in that same way I come to them. Every way that men follow us is my path. There's nothing you can do that's not for God, unless you do it for selfish reasons. If our intention is pure, our motivation is pure, then our actions are pure. In any action in which men seek the attainment of perfection, they worship the gods. Quickly, in the world of men, attainment of perfection is born from action. That's your form of divinity. That's your God. If you're seeking perfection, if you want to do it perfectly, if it's totally succinct, clear without any doubt, without any particle of falsehood, you have pure intention and pure motivation, it's a worship to the gods. And quickly, anybody who seeks attainment of perfection will find that attainment. The four functions of society were created by me. Remember the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, the intellectual system, the central nervous system, the defense system or the immune system, the circulatory system or the circulation of goods and services, nutrients throughout the society, and the servants who bring in nutrition and take away the refuse. It is inherent in every society, whether you look at an individual body or you look at an entire group of people. The four functions of society were created by me, divided by the predominant qualities of actions. Now, every one of us performs all four all the time. We are Kshudras when we bring nourishment to this society. We are Vaishyas when we circulate the nutrients through the society. We are Kshatriyas when we defend against any inappropriate outside influence in our society. And we are Brahmins when we are thinking for the intelligent administration of our society. What is true in a microcosm of this individual body is true in a macrocosm of all society, of all humanity, of all creation. As large as we like to expand the definition of society. Intergalactic, social, cosmic. Even though action is performed by me, know me to be beyond action. So I'm performing the action, but I'm way beyond the action. That doesn't limit me. That's just one small expression of my greatness. Actions do not bind me because I do not desire the fruits of action. Who knows me in this way will not be bound by actions. I'm not only doing what I'm doing for a selfish return on my investment, I've got a bigger picture in mind. And therefore, I'm afraid. Knowing this, liberated souls from ancient times have performed their actions. Therefore, you also should perform all actions as those of ancient times have always performed. What is action? What is inaction? Even inspired poets are in confusion. I shall teach you of that action, knowing which you will be liberated from impurity. So, some people think that inaction is being lazy. And some people think that action is working hard. Well, I'm going to teach you something new. Know what is action and know what is inefficient action. And know also what is inaction. The path of action is difficult to discern. Who perceives inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. He remains in union in every action he may perform. How do you see inaction in action? When I am not the doer, and I'm not bound by what is being done, then I am perceiving inaction in action. Conversely, how do you perceive action in an action? When I sit to meditate, I'm doing the most important action. When I perform pranayama and recite the mantra and do the japa, I'm not producing, and yet I am acting. So who perceives action in inaction and inaction in action, he remains intelligent. He remains in union in every action. He's always got it together, knows what he's doing. I'm not the doer, I'm not the recipient. Brahma, we'll get there. Whose all undertakings have excluded selfish desire, whose actions have been purified in the fire of wisdom, is called knowledgeable by the intelligent. He's excluded selfish desire. And the light of wisdom shines and reverberates through his every action. Having renounced attachment to the fruit of his actions, even while engaged in action, he does nothing at all. He is always satisfied and he is not dependent. He accepts. He has become the servant of circumstances. Without desires, having controlled all thought, reflected by the soul. Now here's an interesting addition. The thought is reflected by the soul. The soul is not the thinker. The soul is the witness of the thoughts. Nature is presenting the thoughts according to its nature. And that's her nature, and the soul is reflecting the thoughts that she presents. Renouncing all possession, only his body performs action, he incurs no fault. The body is acting, because that's its nature, and that's what it has to do. In this circumstance, action is appropriate, and therefore we are acting. He who is easily satisfied, beyond all opposites, without jealousy, equally balanced in success or in failure, even when acting, he is not bound. He whose consciousness resides in wisdom is liberated from all attachments. He performs all action as sacrifice and becomes completely absorbed. All action is a yajna. Everything we do is part of the yajna, and we are completely absorbed in our yajna. The Supreme Divinity makes the offering. The Supreme Divinity is the offering, offered to the Supreme Divinity in the fire of Supreme Divinity. By seeing the Supreme Divinity in all actions, one realizes that Supreme Divinity. Some seekers of union offer worship and sacrifice only to the gods, while others offer sacrifice in the fire of Supreme Divinity. Others offer hearing and other senses into the fire of self-control, while others offer sound and other objects of perception into the fire of the senses. Some offer all the actions of all the organs, or the actions of breath, or life itself, into the fire of union with a self-controlled soul illuminated by the light of wisdom. Some offer sacrifice with things, some sacrifice through austerity, some sacrifice through the practice of union, some sacrifice through the study of wisdom, while other souls strive through the observance of vows. Some offer the outflowing breath into the inflowing breath, and the inflowing breath into the outflowing breath. Controlling the method of inhalation and exhalation, they strive for control of the life force. Others offer the restricted intake of food or their breath into life. All these know sacrifice, and through sacrifice become devoid of thoughts. So here there's so many ways to make yajna, to come to union. There are so many actions through which union can be achieved. All of these are karma yoga. Pranayama, asana, jnana yoga, studying, listening, chanting, meditating, controlling your breath, controlling your organs, controlling your life, controlling self-control. All these know sacrifice. These are all sacrifice coming from the root huge to unite the yajna, the union between the Atma and the Paramatma. Through action, we are coming into this union. And through sacrifice, they have become devoid of faults. There's no fault, there's no error, there's no difficulty, there's no confusion, there's no sin when you're performing a sacrifice. Those who enjoy the nectar which remains from the sacrifice, like prasad, attain the eternal supreme divinity. So everything that I get is the prasad of my offering. And whatever I enjoy, it becomes nectar. How can one be in this world if he does not sacrifice? Oh, best of the performers of action, Arjun. You can't live in this world without a sacrifice. You live in selfish land, in ego loka. You can't live in this world. You're going to live in this bound up world of selfish attachment, always guarding and not protecting, not believing, not trusting, you can't live in this world of dharma. You live in selfish ananda loka. Many ways of sacrifice have been expounded through the mouths of the knowledgeable. In fact, everything you do. Know them all to be born from action, and this wisdom will set you free. I can't say that your yajna is better than his yajna. And if he makes yajna by fixing the garden, and I make yajna by writing a book, we're both making yajna. And she makes yajna by sitting at the fire and reciting mantras, and he makes yajna by doing pranayama. We're all making yajna. It's the quality of union inside that's the yajna. So any action that we perform with clarity and purity and its specific intention can lead us to the yajna. Better than the sacrifice with things is the sacrifice with wisdom. O supremely illuminated one, Arjuna, son of she who excels, Arjuna, all actions without exception culminate in wisdom. Everything we do in life is going to yield the fruit of wisdom. Either we're going to find out what we don't want to try again, or we're going to find out that we could do it even a little bit better next time. But in all, every action yields wisdom. The wise ones who have seen this principle can teach wisdom. Bow to them, serve them, ask this knowledge. O son of he who is without prejudice, Arjuna, knowing this, you will no longer be subjected to confusion. By this you will see infinite existence in your own soul, and then your own soul in me. And this is the wisdom that we want. The capacity to understand that infinite existence is inside me. And I am inside God. And now, no confusion can touch us. If we don't have a clear understanding, we just go to our guru and say, what do you think is best for me? Even if you were a person who committed great evil amongst sinners, you can surely cross the ocean of evil by the raft of wisdom. No matter what was in the past, if we make the beautiful present, we're going to enjoy a brilliant future. As the sacred fire turns all offerings to ashes, clarity of pure devotion, so the fire of wisdom turns all actions to ashes. For there is nothing that can be known or perceived to be more pure than wisdom. That is the highest. That one must learn for himself or herself through the timely attainment of perfection of union with his own soul. That means now. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until the moment of death and say, okay, now maybe I should think about God. Start now. Having obtained strength of faith in the highest wisdom, one controls his senses. Having attained wisdom, he quickly attains the highest peace. So here we get the faith, and then we start controlling our senses and bringing our senses inside and stop looking outside. We begin to meditate. And having attained this wisdom and this practice, he quickly attains to the highest peace. The ignorant lack faith, and doubts destroy or torment the soul. For the soul in doubt, neither this world has comfort nor the higher worlds. Even if you send doubting Thomas to heaven, he'll wonder, is this really where I want to be? Is this the highest good? Conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, who has renounced all action in divine union, who has cut all doubts to pieces by wisdom, who is master of his own soul, he is not bound by action. Everything he or she does is an expression of wisdom. It's all an expression of privilege. It's all a depiction of love. Therefore, O descendant of the light of wisdom, Arjuna, let your soul take the sword of wisdom and cut to pieces the doubts of your heart born of ignorance. Rise and become established in the perfection of union. Uttishta Bhagavata. Rise and become established in the perfection of wisdom. Are there any questions? Please.
Swamiji, you mentioned the soul being the witness of the thoughts.
Yes.
And thoughts coming from nature.
Yes.
So when we are chanting or doing pranayama and we get a thought, then we observe that we've gotten a thought. Is that the soul witnessing or is it?
That is the soul witnessing. And so far as we can discriminate between I am the thinker having this thought, and this thought is about me and my relationship to the world, if we can divorce ourselves from that process and just witness it, it loses its energy. The energy of that thought dissipates and has no further capacity to drag us into the labyrinth of daydreams. And if we go with the thought and say, oh yes, that is my thought, and that is me, and that is good, and that is bad, and I like this, and I want more of it, and I don't like that, and I want to avoid it, then we forget about the divinity and we navigate that treacherous path of daydream while we're supposed to be meditating. Are there other questions?
Swamiji, so the soul is the witness.
Yes, this is Sankhya philosophy. Remember, we have Purush and Prakriti. And now the Purush is the witness of the Prakriti.
So the Purush, are there some thoughts or situations where the soul becomes happy?
No. Happiness and sadness, pleasure and pain, dukh and sukh, all are products of the mind. They are products of the nature. The soul is neither happy nor is it sad. He is merely the witness.
Swamiji, sometimes you say Atma ko anand mila.
He is blissful, and Sat Chit Ananda is the intrinsic nature of the soul. But happiness and sadness are not the nature of the soul. Those are the transitory states of the mind, according to its nature. The soul is always eternally of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. He's blissful. But happiness and blissfulness are different. Happiness is caused by a stimulus, and therefore happiness is a response. But blissfulness is the intrinsic nature of the soul. And if we peel away all the layers, all the thoughts, we will find the soul that dwells in bliss. Now, if you put back all the layers on, you say, I'm happy and I'm sad,
And we've lost the soul.
and we forgot about the soul. We can't see the soul because all we see are the affectations of the mind. Now our objective is to leave all of these encumbrances of the mind and dwell particularly, strictly within the soul.
Question from Kumari from Valuable.
Yes.
What is the effect of being in the presence of or serving Guru? Does this presence or service directly help to purify the mind's unwelcome tendencies, action or nature?
Namaste, Kumari, and I hope your flu is flying. And yes, it is so important for us to have a pure example, somebody who has done something about this, at least who can expose us to this philosophy. Otherwise, we have so many influences in our lives. Look at your employers will influence you. Do a little more productivity. And your friends will say, come and enjoy with us. Let's go out and have a good time. And you have so many influences in our lives all the time. If we include the influence of the Guru, who is presumably a pure soul or a purer soul who is going to teach us the wisdom of the Gita and make us sit down in an asana by the fire and offer up our impurities and teach us various ways by which we can come into a greater harmony with God, then yes, we need this relationship. It is important for us to have these influences in our lives. We need the information and we need the example and we need the inspiration to start inculcating that example on our own. This is so important for us because otherwise it remains a philosophical theory. And I heard about sadhana and I heard about tapasya and I heard, but I've got stuff to do. I've got a lot of living to do. So now it's important for us to have the influence of the Guru and the Gurukul in our lives. The family of the Guru also will help us to inspire each other to come a little closer to godliness. Please.
A question from Rolf from Mountain View.
Namaste, Rolf.
How do we maintain the attitude of sacrifice all the time?
First step is get the inspiration. The second step is to study. The third step is to practice. And the fourth step is to refine the practice to virtuous efficiency. The fifth step is to nurture divinity. The sixth step is to become completely pure. The seventh step is to overcome the darkness of our egotistical attachments. And the eighth step is to become one with the great radiant light. Namavam Siddhidatricha. This is the ninth step, is the grantor of perfection, and these are the 9 forms of Durga proclaimed as the path to attainment in anything we choose from the dawn of creation. And that would be the way I suggest it.
Question from Kiran from San Jose. In verse 26, it says, while others offer sound and other objects of perception into the fire of senses, what does this mean, singing and chanting and satsang?
Yes, it does. And it also means hearing. You're going to control your hearing. You can discriminate. Put some guards. Joya and Vijaya will stand at the entrance to the city of God and discriminate as to what you want to allow to come in. And then, what do you want to come out? The sounds and other objects of perception should be an offering of chanting and singing and the Word of God. And that's our objective, Karen.
Question from Gary from Pinole, California.
Namaste.
What is meant by the yajna of wisdom referred to in verse 33?
What we are doing right now is called the Gyan Yajna. The very study of the scriptures and the study of the applications of the scriptures, how to apply this knowledge in our lives, is called the Gyan Yajna, the union with knowledge. And so we perform this yajna through, it's as much a yajna to unite with wisdom as it is a yajna to unite with fire. It's just a different kind of yajna. So that's what they're calling here.
A question from Chetan from Fairfield.
Namaste, Chetan. Are you going to stump me tonight?
He's asking, how is it that even though Arjuna is before God himself all the time and is also recognizing him as such, still Sri Krishna tells him to reach him by following the yoga of action?
Well, all of us have to act all of the time. Now, I think Sri Krishna is telling him, remember me in every action you perform and you will be free. Don't try to guess the outcome of that action. Try to be motivated by pure intention. Give up your selfishness, even though you are with me right now. I am your guru. You have asked me to be a guru. You can come to me, dwell with me, live with me, be with me all the time through every action that you perform. That's why he's encouraging his disciple. Don't just come to me on Saturday nights at 6:30 p.m. Come Monday through Friday as well. Come and enjoy the entire program. Don't just come a little bit. Come as much as you can. Because the closer you come to me, the more you remember me, the more intense is that remembrance, that longing, that feeling, that observation. Then you see me present everywhere. And then you dwell with me. Now, don't make this a part-time hobby. Make it your full-time vocation. The other stuff is what you do in order to support your real life's work. Yes, please.
Question from Usha from Canada.
Namaste, Usha.
Can Swamiji comment on verse 24 as a meal prayer? Everything eating, everything else in the universe, material or energy, the one great law of sacrifice. When we realize this, does it make a difference in our actions, even if the mind falls asleep?
Especially when the mind falls asleep. That's the object, is to convince our minds that they should go to sleep. But we're seeking virtuous efficiency. And here we see that the Supreme Divinity is making the offering. The Supreme Divinity is the offering, offered in the fire of Supreme Divinity to the Supreme Divinity. And now we're trying to see the Supreme Divinity in every action we perform. And this is not only for our meals, but we use it as a prayer for our meal, because God is offering godliness to God, so that this form of God can perform more godly actions. It's like Shankaracharya's prayer, Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham Bhiksham Dehi Namostute. Give me what I need, the nourishment that I need, so that I can achieve the highest state of wisdom and all of renunciation in every action I perform. The similar activity, Usha.
Question from Nanda, San Jose.
Yes.
Which relates to verse 34.
Yes, Nanda.
Nanda's asking, what is the correct way or protocol to approach a guru and ask a question?
We had that in the first chapter of the Chandi, where Samadhi and Surat went to see Medas Muni, and they entered into the circular area of sacrifice, and they observed the customs and congenialities conducive to learning. Now we know the law of gravity brings blessings down, so we humble ourselves. We humble ourselves with sincerity and with real questions and with study, and by absorbing the questions, not trying to debate, not trying to prove our position better, but by absorbing the answers and looking for ways that we can apply this knowledge in our lives. This is the humility of a student, a sincere longing for knowledge and a sincere humility in order to accept that knowledge. So these would be some of the ways. Bow to them, serve them, and ask them questions. That's what Krishna suggests. Yes, please, Gauri.
Swamiji, how do you cultivate balance in praise or in success and in failure? Because it's easy on the success.
Mostly through experience. Experience is the great teacher. That after every failure and after every round of blame, there's going to come some praise. And after some time, we realize that both of them are useless. We've got certain goals that we are trying to achieve. And I would like to place them in empirically measurable criteria. Like, I want to expand my asana. I want to be able to chant from cover to cover in one asana. I want to maintain a rhythm of pranayama. I want to maintain a certain level of absorption in meditation. These are goals which we can verify. I wouldn't say, I would like to have my life controlled by God all the time. That means I get to go blow wherever the wind may blow me. I don't want exactly that as an undefinable goal, because that isn't definable. I want to be a tool in the hands of God. That's an altruistic expression, it's an affirmation, but I've got certain things that I have to empirically produce, or empirically, there has to be some demonstrable evidence that I've reached the goal, so that I know I've got it. So now when I define my goals very clearly, then I can know, I can measure my progress along the way. And now I'm going to a specific goal. And all this praise and blame along the way, what does it really mean in the terms of where I'm going? In the terms of my ultimate goal, the only one who really knows is my guru. And I would certainly listen to praise or blame from my guru. And the rest is just chatter coming from people who have an opinion about what I should be doing with my life. And if I followed everybody's advice about what they think I should be doing about my life, I would have never been able to make the first step. Because believe me, my family wasn't in favor of my becoming a sadhu. They wanted me to become a somebody and not a nobody. So ultimately, I had to take the initiative to define my goal in a different way. And not succumb to praise or blame from any other source other than my guru. Yes, please, go down.
Okay, I just want a clarification here. The tool in the hands of God and the servant of circumstance, and then the defining one's goals so that one is taking responsibility for oneself rather than having other people tell one what to do in the sense of...
Right, there seems to be a reconciliation that needs to be done there. And it's true, there is a reconciliation. To become an efficient tool in the hands of God, I have to cultivate some skills. I have to sharpen the tool. I don't want to give God a dull tool and say, okay, this tool's all rusted and broken and dull and blunted, so now you can use it. I want to sharpen that tool in a certain way according to my personal inclination. Whether it be as a craftsman, whether it be as a computer expert, whether it be as an expert in finance, whether it be as the perfect servant, I want to sharpen the tool and cultivate the skills so that God can use it. Both are true. My mother is a goddess of predetermination. The law of karma is effective. My father is the god of free will. You will get the fruits of your karma, and you have free will to change them, to sow new seeds so you get different fruits. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Sorry everybody, we ran out of time tonight. But we can continue with questions because this is a loaded chapter. And if anybody wants to get loaded with me tomorrow night, same time, same station. Namaste.
Daily duties?
Absolutely. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. Mea maximal culpa. Yes, Moni, and I'm sorry, even though there are two types of people who climb the mountain, no one gets to stay on top. Either you find what you're looking for and have to come down to share it, or you don't find what you're looking for and you have to come down because you got hungry. But nobody gets to stay on top. We are enjoined to act. We are required, it's incumbent upon us. And we act in various ways according to the circumstances that prevail. How can we be most effective as a tool in the hands of God? Circumstances themselves will dictate that to us. we'll understand. We will understand immediately when the circumstances confront us. We will understand what is our highest and best use in the hand of God.
Question from Wendy from New Jersey.
Namaste, Wendy.
When we have desires to do something that appears to be good, as in helping others, how can we distinguish if it is selfish just to feel good about ourselves or pure?
Well, there are two parts of the equation. The first is seeking to put others in a greater state of harmony in accordance with their desire to move into that state of harmony, so that we're doing a good without imposing upon them our view, without imposing our view upon them. And the second is, what is the remuneration or the recompense or the reward that we're seeking from performing this action? If performing the action fills us with so much love and so much joy that whether any fruit is derived in the future or not is inconsequential, then we are free from attachment and free from selfishness. When we perform the action, if we are not struggling to impose our personal view on another, then we are free from attachment. If we seek to act for the betterment of others, for the upliftment of others, and just only want to place them in a better place, then we're free from attachment. I think these could be some of the criteria by which we discriminate what puts us in a better